The Pirate Lord world and the simulation world currently have 0 demons, empowerment, and living in a different world from scratch, to be determined, my treasure. If you want it, give it to you, go find it. I put everything in the world there. The death of the Pirate King who forcefully advertised the entire world also heralds the arrival of the era of the Great Pirate. The logging boy on Honja Island looked at the headline news in the newspaper, but his expression showed a look of melancholy. Key words of the novel. Starting from the pirates, there are no pop-ups in the simulation of the world. Starting from the pirates, there are no pop-ups in the simulation of the world. Download the complete set of TXT. Starting from the pirates, there are the latest chapters in the simulation of the world. Chapter 1. Woodcutter Youth on the Island. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Woodcutter Youth on the Island in 1499. According to the Hyuan calendar, the first half of the Great Voyage, Honja Island. This island is named after its resemblance to red leaves and the abundance of a tree with red leaves on it. The people of Honja Island are simple and honest, and nearly half of the islanders are professional lumberjacks and gardeners who plant red leaf trees. Due to the climate, the red leaf tree, a special plant, seems to be growing very well on their islands. Red leaf trees that have reached a certain age are also excellent wood for making ships, so most residents of Red Leaf Island make a living from them. In a red leaf forest near the sea, a black-haired boy is waving his axe and frantically exporting to the thick red leaf trunk in front of him. However, it seems that due to his lack of skills or the inability of the axe in his hand to keep up with him, the boy failed to accurately hit the same spot with each heavy chop. For a native resident of Honja Island, you may not be able to drink alcohol or brag, or dance with a gun or stick, but the skill of chopping trees must be at least proficient. Wood's current level of tree felling, if it weren't for the lack of others around him, would probably have been ridiculed by the islanders of Red Leaf Island as inferior to underage children. Wood is already 15 years old this year, and in this world, he should also be considered an adult. However, the logging skills that most residents of Honja Island have mastered are not as good as those of some young children. But this cannot be blamed on him, because Wood is not originally a person in this world. Or to put it another way, his body was indeed a native of Red Leaf Island Wood, but his inner soul had already undergone a change. Ding! Completed the task of chopping down 1,000 trees and 5 red leaf trees, with a mediocre score. Congratulations on getting the opportunity to use the life simulator. No mistake, Wood is a time traveler, and he also has the necessary cheat that time traveler must bring. This cheat was a popular mini-program game called Life Simulator before Wood's Time Traveler. And the reason why Wood had been working hard to cut down trees before was not because he wanted to get rich through this thing. After all, he was not a bald young man in the forest who was chased and crushed by 2 bears every day. I chose to do this entirely because of the tasks released by the system. Task Name: Woodcutter on Honja Island. Task Requirement: use the designated axe to strike 1,000 red leaf trees. The more red leaf trees you cut down, the higher the evaluation. Task Completion Criteria: with a task evaluation of at least moderate or above, and no time limit. Task Reward: open a life simulation opportunity once. P.S. Fortunately, miscellaneous fish. This is a well-known welfare task segment, but don't expect future tasks to be so simple. Watching the completion of the task prompt, Wood finally put down his axe and breathed a long sigh of relief. The still tender hands, due to prolonged holding of the axe, not only felt a bit weak, but even ground many blood bubbles. The system claims that the difficulty of this task is simple and it is only a welfare stage prepared for beginners, but Wood completely disagrees with this. God knows how many days he has been chopping down big trees in this mangrove forest. From not even holding the axe properly at the beginning, to now completing the task, Wood has been chopping down the red tree for more than 3 months. At the beginning, with Wood's physical fitness, he couldn't even swing an axe 1,000 times a day, and then he barely reached the mark, which took Wood more than a month. For the remaining 2 months, although Wood achieved the target of wielding an axe 1,000 times a day, there were either none or none of the fallen mangroves. If the average task evaluation is not achieved, the task cannot be completed naturally, so Wood can only numbly repeat the daily task of chopping trees. And thanks to the special nature of this world, or rather, the people in this world generally have stronger physical fitness and recovery ability than the original world. Even though Wood is exhausted half to death every day, he can still be resurrected with full health the next day. And there is no time limit to this task, otherwise the seemingly simple task of chopping trees would definitely be considered a death difficulty for Wood. Wood has been in this world for over a year now, but the system was activated 6 months ago. At the beginning, Wood, who had traveled through the island, was not sure what world he had come to, but because of the simple customs of Red Leaf Island and the lack of high energy on the island, Wood once believed that he had come to an ordinary peaceful world. Although the technology in this world may be far behind Wood's previous world, the combination of primitive living and unpolluted air also makes Wood feel quite relaxed. And just when Wood thought that he could barely make a living with some advanced knowledge from his past life and live this life peacefully, a news that echoed across the entire ocean disrupted Wood's original plan for a better future. Do you want my treasure? If you want it, you can give it all to me. Go find it. I'll put all my treasures there. On the newspaper delivered by the news bird, a man with black hair kneeling on the execution platform, but with a calm face, occupied the headline position of the newspaper, and the length of the chapter almost accounted for more than half of the newspaper. In the year 1498 of the High Yuan calendar, Pirate King Gerd D. Roger was executed. However, his words before his execution stirred up the entire sea and caused countless people to rush towards it. This world also ushered in the so-called Age of Pirates. At the same time, it was also because of this report that Wood finally realized what kind of world he had come into. This is not a peaceful world at all, and this world is not without high-energy existence. It's just because his birthplace is mostly a weak chicken. Roger's end heralded the beginning of the Age of Pirates, and just a few months later, the tide of the era had already spread to the Red Leaf Island where Wood was located. Without him, the era of the great pirates has arrived. If people want to go to sea, they must build ships. Besides the need for shipbuilders, what is also needed for shipbuilding is excellent wood. Unfortunately, the mangroves on Hongya Island are one of the most excellent shipbuilding materials. So under the tide of the times, a large number of pirates swarmed towards this island. The residents of Hongya Island, who have been accustomed to a peaceful life, have no resistance in the face of fierce pirates. Within a month, there were 3 waves of pirates, and most of the residents had their high-quality timber looted. Wood's family was spared because he had no logging skills before. The pirates not only plundered the resources on the island, but even resorted to killing someone if they didn't agree. Wood also witnessed a little lowly dying in front of him once, and couldn't bear it. He mustered up the courage to secretly stab a pirate subordinate, ultimately activating the current system. New books for collection and follow. Up, thank you everyone. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. The First Life Simulation, for collection and follow-up. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. Chapter 2. The First Life Simulation, for collection and follow-up. When I used to watch One Piece, as an observer, I only saw passionate battles and touching companionship. But only through personal experience did Woody truly understand what a vicious existence the so-called pirate was. Pirates like Luffy and others are always rare in this vast sea. It's not a problem to say that the Straw Hat Gang is more like adventurers than pirates. It is undeniable that there are also pirates who, like Whitebeard and Shanks, protect one side. But more pirates actually set sail for profit and reputation, and they are not good men and women. Otherwise, how could they be labeled as pirates? After the arrival of the pirate era, the population of the residents of Hongya Island has directly decreased by more than a quarter. Some people died tragically at the hands of pirates, while others couldn't bear the pirates' frequent visits and never chose to leave this island. However, Wood knows that the age of pirates has already begun, and now there is no place in the entire ocean that is strictly safe. Even if you leave Homya Island, who can guarantee that you won't encounter other pirates on the sea? The vast sea is full of hope, but it is also extremely dangerous. For inexperienced people, going out to sea is almost always a near death. Apart from the possibility of encountering fierce pirates, there are too many unpredictable factors such as tsunamis and sea kings. The real hard truth is to live in this world and achieve strict security, enhance one's own strength. Wood is now 15 years old and has reached a height of 1.8 meters. Judging from his appearance, he should still be able to grow in the next 2 years. He used to be quite complacent. After all, his height combined with his far above average appearance directly made Wood feel very satisfied. Who would mind being reborn as a long-legged oba? However, when Wood found out that the world he was in was the world of pirates, he suddenly felt that his height could not meet the standard of long legs in this world. The average height per person in the world of pirates is outrageous, and each one is generally overdeveloped. Special races such as the giant race will not be mentioned for now. Ordinary humans, such as the 3 great naval generals, have an average height of about 3 meters per person. Even the wife of many sea enthusiasts, the pirate Empress Hancock, is 191 centimeters tall. If it looks like this, Wood, who is 15 years old and 1.8 meters tall, doesn't look like a dwarf at most in this world. He really can't be considered tall to get to the point. The above is just Wood's experience on the island during this period. Currently, his primary task is to enhance his own strength. After completing the task, Wood was given an opportunity to simulate life, and there was no need for the system to elaborate on related abilities. Wood had played many games in his past life. So after putting down the axe, Wood collapsed to the ground and began his first life simulation. At the age of 15, due to being repeatedly burned, killed, and looted by pirates on the Red Leaf Island where you reside, you made up your mind to become stronger in a state of righteous indignation and began working day and night on physical fitness. At the age of 16, the Navy headquarters realized the strategic value of Homya Island and dispatched warships, but they happened to pass by you who had left Homya Island at the age of 17. As you left Homya Island, after 2 years of maritime experience, you acquired certain sailing skills and eliminated a small pirate group. At the age of 18, you, young and spirited, ultimately stumbled into the windless zone in pursuit of a notorious pirate group. At the age of 19, you accidentally fell into the windless zone. After persisting in your mouth for a period of time, after experiencing a food shortage, you were buried in the sea with people and a boat because you have died. This simulation is over. Unlike the emulator that Wood used to play with, which could easily simulate hundreds of years old crossing tribulations, Wood was speechless as he looked at only a few messages appearing on the screen. How to say it? It's unexpected, but it seems reasonable. This sea is full of danger, and I am not the kind of person like Wang Lufei who is surrounded by relatives and the protagonist's aura. At the moment of deciding to go to sea, there was already a great risk of death. It's better to say that just like Wood, who is so cute and can go out to sea alone, and has lived on the sea for several years, he seems to have killed many pirates during this period, which is somewhat unexpected for Wood himself. At the end of this simulation, you can choose the following rewards to claim. 1. The physical exercise results before leaving Homya Island. 2. Years of relevant sailing knowledge. 3. The belongings on board the ship before being buried at sea. 4. A combat skill during random battles with pirates. Looking at the 4 options that popped up, Wood hesitated briefly before choosing the 4th option directly. The first option may seem good, but over the next year, Wood can still improve his physical fitness by exercising step by step. As for the second and third, they are too weak for the current Wood. Although navigation knowledge and treasures are good, seeing the life outcomes simulated by himself, Wood obviously cannot choose to go out alone anymore, or rather, he will not easily go out to sea until his strength meets the standard. The 4th option actually has a lot of gambling potential. Choosing the first option can directly save Wood a year of exercise time, while choosing the fourth option, no one knows if it will lead to any potential weakness. However, even so, after weighing the gains and losses, Wood ultimately chose the fourth reward. The reason is also very simple, that is, Wood believes that physical exercise can be done anytime, but the experience and skills of fighting enemies are more valuable. As the saying goes, talking on paper can never match the real battle on the field. After the age of 18, since Wood is able to handle the unknown small pirate group, it indicates that he has a certain level of strength. Even if he had acquired some combat skills at the time, he would definitely have been much stronger than staying alone on the island and practicing hard. Ding, congratulations on extracting a piece of swordsmanship experience. Upon seeing the reward pop up on the system interface, Wood had just shown an expression of ecstasy, and a large amount of memories had already been directly instilled into his mind. Previously, Wood was completely clueless about swords, but now he feels like he can drive like an arm with a knife in his hand. Wood in The Sims, before being buried in the sea, had already mastered the level of swordsmanship for breathing all things, but now these things have all become what Wood is today. Zhan Tai and Weifang Zhanshi are two symbols of Jianhao. Although 18-year-old Wood in The Sims is still unable to release Weifang Zhanshi, he has clearly reached the threshold of Jianhao. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Growing Wood, the Girl on the Island, Seeking Collection, Seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 4. Young Guardians on the Island. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 5. Iron Arm. I only know Astro Boy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 6. Wood showcasing true strength. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 7. Naval ships entering the Red Leaf Island area. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 8. The Zefa for recruiting new soldiers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 9. The Power of Taboos on the Sea. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 10. Perhaps this is what is called justice. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors.